Thank you for tuning in to Seriously Podcast. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play at Seriously Podcast, as well as on the Indie Creative Network. Please like, rate, review, and subscribe, and spread the word. Let the people know about your new favorite podcast. Thanks again for tuning in, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of Seriously Podcast. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Mary.
Today we're getting into episode 5 of Giants, and with us today we have the very talented Vanessa Baden Kelly, who plays Journee on the show. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so first question we like to ask our guests is, what was the first web series you ever watched or got hooked on?
Oh man, the first web series. So I don't know if it counts, but I was like really into Derek comedy when Donald Glover was still at NYU. He would do all of these sketches, but it kind of became a series. And so I was really into that when I first moved to Los Angeles. That was 2010. But even before that, there was a web series that was happening at it was at FAMU. I went to Florida State, so it was like right across the railroad tracks from us. They had a web series called My Brother's Keeper, and a whole bunch of like your friends were in it, but it was like high drama.
I have to check both of those out. Yeah. I don't think I ever watched either one.
Yeah,
you got us.
Yeah, if you go and you if you go and you look at like Donald Glover's old stuff, like when he first when he was still at NYU, it's just him, and it like the ongoing joke throughout all of the sketches was that he had a girlfriend. I think her name was like Stephanie, and that had broken up with him, and he was heartbroken, and so he would always like find ways to like address her somehow, and all of it. It was really but yeah, I used to be really into that.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna add that to my list. So we all know you started off as a child actor with shows like Gullah Gullah Island and Keena Kel, which are like part of my top 5 childhood shows. I love those. So what drew you to acting as a child?
Honestly, my parents got me. My grandparents raised me, but my grandma and my mom got me into it because I was just hella dramatic. I used to like try to recreate the news broadcasts off of the like 5 o'clock news, and so I grew up with my grandparents, and my mom lived about 10 minutes away from our house, so she came and saw me every day. But my mom did like modeling, and my grandma thought it would be a good way for us to kind of like spend some more time together. And so I remember my mom. I very distinctly remember being 4 years old and my mom seeing something like on the 12 o'clock news, the noon news, about a modeling school in Orlando. And so she wrote down the number really fast, and she asked me if I wanted to be in the TV. And I was like, yeah.
Like, of course.
Yeah, so I started there, and I just did like commercials and stuff like that. And that's around the time that Nickelodeon was beginning to diversify its content. And they had a really robust line of television shows coming out that were based in Orlando, and that's where I'm from. So just started auditioning and just booking in the way that, it wasn't like Orlando had a hell of a lot of child actors then. It wasn't like the place for child actors to be. So it kind of just got recycled from show to show. So I started on My Brother and Me, and then went to Gullah Gullah Island, and then went to Keena Kel.
Awesome.
So now moving to Giants, how did you get involved with this project? Like, what was it about this project that made you want to be a part of it?
So James Bland is one of my best friends in the entire world. We are actually from the same place in Florida, and we kind of casually knew each other in high school, and then we became really good friends at college, and then best friends pretty shortly after that. Wow. So I pretty much will do anything James asks me to do. We actually
like whatever you need.
Oh, we robbing someone? Who we robbing?
Let's just do it.
So, no, it's bad. Like, if somebody's mad at James, I'm immediately mad at them, even if James is wrong.
I think in one of the behind the scenes episode, he said like that scene with the whole cupcake incident that like really happened between you guys, right?
Yes, really happened. So that real quick, I'll tell you. So I was dating a dude that James actually knew before me because they went to college together. I was dating a dude, and we do a really good job of not getting into each other's love lives because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just like convolute stuff when you have a male and female best friend. So
Right.
we like never talked about, like, we knew who the other one was dating, and we would say stuff like, "Man, this motherfucker," like we would complain about stuff to one another, but not necessarily like divulge things. Like we kept that for our homeboys and like my girlfriends. Um, but we just really liked this dude. Like he was just a good dude, and we still actually really like him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he needed. We knew what it was like to be struggling and trying to do some stuff, and he needed some money, and I had some of it, but not all of it. And Bland was like, "Yo, he can hold it, especially if he's going to give it back to us next week. Like I don't got to pay rent for a little bit."
Right.
And but he just went ghost.
That is crazy.
Damn.
We knew him for like 10 years. It wasn't like we had just met this. Like we had known him for a really long time. We still see him and talk to him.
What?
So it was like a big,
Like,
there's some giving folk, but it was an
Right.
ordeal.
Okay.
Anyway, so James, it had been something that had been on his mind for a little while, and he had been thinking about it. And he came to my house and told me that was what he was interested in doing, and I told him I would back him up, and
Mm-hmm.
we did it. Like I just basically just did whatever my friend needed me to do.
Right. Great job. We're loving the show. So your character Journee, what is it about your character that you admire or like you hate about Journee?
Journee is like an amalgam of me and Bland and like other friends and people that we have in our lives. And the thing that I love about Journee is how free spirited she is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that at all. Like I'm a stereotypical Virgo. I'm very type A.
Hey,
Like everything
I'm a Virgo too.
has to be in order. Like I am literally the most stringent creative you've ever met. Like things have to go in a certain order, and I have to have control of stuff. And Journee's not like that. And in that, there is one of my other best friends who is a stylist and just like a beautiful creature. Her name is Victoria. She's like a Instagram and like blogger, that Vic Styles. I kind of like made Journee be kind of like Vic because Vic is the type of person that doesn't fear jumping into a new relationship. Like she'll call you and be like, "Girl, let me tell you about this dude, blah, blah, blah." And you're like, "Oh, is this person?" And she's like, "Girl, no, that was last week. This is the new boo." There's a freedom there. You know how sometimes girls or women sometimes they are jumping in and out of relationships and they don't see like, man, you're making some bad choices. And
Right.
you're coming,
A pattern.
that's not her. That's not Vic at all. Like she is jumping in, heart wide open, ready for anything to happen. And if it doesn't happen, cool, I'll move on to the next thing. And that
Right.
I'm completely unfazed. And there's just like a freedom there that it's really beautiful and really just like awe-inspiring. And so
Yeah.
I really, really love that about Journee. And it's kind of my favorite thing about Victoria. So
Do you identify with Journee in any way, and how so?
oh yeah. I mean, a lot of Journey's stories are my own stories. Like I know there's that one time, I guess it's episode 1, where she tells Malachi, "I just couldn't stop the car."
Yeah.
That really happened with me and James.
Really?
But together, but he thought it was the funniest thing he had ever heard. So he kept. This was like 2011, and he was like, "One day I'm going to write this into something." So 2017. So I had this awful, awful job. Now, mind you, I had already been on television, so people would be like, I was on TV as a kid, so I was like 25, and this was my job. Was I would stand outside of like a Target or like a grocery store and try to get you to like sponsor a child in Africa.
Oh yeah.
Try to straight up take your credit card number.
What?
But I wasn't being fraudulent. Like that was my actual job. Like that's what you had to do, is sign people up. And so like I was really good at it because I had come from a lot of when I was in college, I did a lot of community organizing and like political campaigns and what have you. And so I excelled in it. But like, are you kidding me? You're standing outside a Target asking people for their credit card.
I walk past those people.
And I would be like, "Yes, I'm the girl from Kenan and Kel. Would you Sudan?" And so there was one, I did it for like a week. And then there was like one day that I like drove there. It was in Pasadena. And I drove there. It's like a 20-minute drive. And like I got into the parking. I had spent the night at James's house. I slept on the couch. He had like 4 other roommates. It was like 5 people living in a 2-bedroom house. And I had slept on the couch next to where the couch he slept on, or the mattress he slept on. And I went to work and I told him I was leaving. He was like, cool, see you later. I'll see you after work. And like I drove to Pasadena. I got to the parking lot. Y'all, I could not make my foot stop that car.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do this. Like, this is not going to I was like, I'm going to fall apart if I do this again.
Right.
So I just drove around and then I just drove back to James's house and I came back and he opened his eyes and he was like, what the hell are you doing here? I was like, I couldn't stop the car. And he was, what do you mean? I was like, I mean, we said it word for word. I was like, I physically could not make my foot hit the brake. But we were dying laughing. Like in this, it was like a really big deal because we needed to know. But in this, dying laughing.
That is crazy.
So Journee is a lot of my crazy stuff. But I'm less. Journee's like that all the time. I'm like that like 25% of the time.
Okay, just like sometimes.
Yeah.
So being that the show has like established that Journee is like has manic depression, what kind of conversation did you want the audience to have by portraying her?
Basically what's in the comments of the YouTube videos. I just wanted the conversation to happen, right? Because like I think that the word depression has been destigmatized to the point that everybody recognizes like, oh, it's a real thing, but not everybody internalizes that it's a real thing. So people were saying in the comments, like, I get she has depression, and so you're like, but you don't get it. Like you understand the word, but you don't get what that means and what the impact of it is. And so it was really interesting to watch the comments because people would say stuff like, she's a moocher. And then somebody else would say, she has depression, like she can't get up. I understand having depression, but that's what depression is. Like you were starting to start going back and forth about it.
Yeah.
But it happened in such a way that people were able to people were able to openly say the things that they didn't like about her, that they didn't like, and say, I know she has depression, and get corrected that is what depression is. Exactly. So their biases were able to be confronted because it was a safe space to be able to talk about this.
Right.
So I've loved watching that happen. That's my laundry.
Okay.
It was a safe space to be able to watch that happen. And also, it was also really interesting to watch how many people would slide into DMs.
What?
Really? Oh, not like that.
Oh. We're like,
I'm like, okay.
Oh, no, so many people would slide into DMs and be like, yo, I've been struggling with this forever. Thank you for giving voice to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But would not publicly post it. And so you're like,
okay.
Like, I had no clue you were going through this. This puts so much into perspective, but nonetheless, like, even with this, you still feel scared to say it because you're seeing what people are saying in the comment section. So you're like, oh, I totally get it. Okay. So the conversations I've hoped to happen have happened both publicly and privately. Gotcha. And I hope to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question is, what are some tips you would suggest in order for more people to get a bit more educated on mental health? Like, where would one start?
I mean, I think there are some like really good resources online.
Google. There
are a lot of really good not-for-profits that have some good guidelines and some good like symptom checkers and things like that. And of course, there is a difference between just having the blues and being depressed, but being heartbroken and being depressed.
Yeah.
But like, I think that that's a good place to start, and it's kind of like checking out those symptoms. But I think what I would say is I would encourage anybody who struggles with depression to at least identify themselves. And I encourage folks that don't necessarily identify, but who know somebody who does, to just sit and talk, because you don't have to understand something to you don't have to go through something to kind of understand it, and you don't have to fully understand something to empathize with it, right? So it's like, you may have never experienced what it feels like to not be able to get out of bed, and you feel like you should be able to will yourself into it. And if you talk to somebody with depression for long enough, and you guys can kind of get to the bottom with it. I've found, at least in my experiences, is that if you're really going in and trying to understand it, eventually you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My mother-in-law, who I absolutely adore, she didn't understand it. She really didn't. And she called me earlier this year, and she's like, I got it. She was like, I was trying to explain PMS to somebody. She's like, I'm not trying to trivialize what you go through. She was like, but I was trying to explain PMS to somebody, and she's like, and I get irritated, and I'm weepy, and I'm emotional, and there's nothing I can do. And then I can look at the calendar and say, oh, I know exactly why this is happening, but I can't stop it.
Right.
And I was like, and she was like, that's depression. You know it's happening to you because you are depressed, but you can't stop it.
Yeah.
And I was like, exactly. And I would have never thought to have used that. So, girl, now I use that with everybody. But I never thought to have used it. But it was like she was actively trying to understand me. Like, she was actively trying to know. And eventually, it wasn't our first, 7th, or 10th conversation, but eventually something clicked because she wanted to get it.
Okay.
And so I would just, like, encourage people to, if they really want to know, like, just keep being around it. Keep trying to make yourself available for people that are depressed, and you're not going to get it all right. And probably you should shut up more than you should talk. But if you have an open mind, you'll understand it.
Right. Definitely. Okay. So we're going to do a quick little game. Okay, so a theme we see on the show is a lot of struggle. Like, I feel like some people can't get right. So we're just going to do like a would you rather, and like we're going to ask you some struggling questions or stuff that's like hard, okay? So the first one is, would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by annoying people?
I would rather always be surrounded by annoying people.
Okay.
Because being alone would drive you flipping crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Annoying people, most of the time you can make fun of them and they don't know you're making fun of them. So you can make it all again. Your whole life would be again.
It might be easier to tolerate.
Right.
Okay. If you were forced to host a big dinner party, would you rather invite everyone you left swiped on Tinder or invite all your exes?
I'd invite all my exes. I'm cool with all them niggas.
That's good. No, I could not do left swipe.
No, that's a lot.
Some of the creeps.
Oh, here's the thing. Tinder came out after I was married.
Oh.
So I had no personal Tinder, like no skin in the game with Tinder. But one of my best friends left swiped like a mug. And I feel
her left swipe game is strong.
So if you only had money to only pay for one, would you rather get your car from the impound or your cell phone internet service back? Only choose one.
Car from the impound, because then you can drive Uber and get your phone back.
Oh.
Smart.
Okay. She found a loophole.
She sure did. Would you rather have Google search results for your name confused with a convicted killer or a famous porn star?
Oh, shit. I'd rather have it with a convicted killer, because anybody who sees my face and be like, she ain't killed nobody.
Right. That ain't her.
But a porn star, that could be anybody.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Okay, get trolled on Twitter by hundreds or get called an offensive name on the street by a stranger?
Offensive name on the street by a stranger, because once they walk past you, it's over.
Yeah, because those Twitter comments still going to be there. Still retweeting.
Right.
Would you rather have your most embarrassing moment captured in a GIF that goes viral or face your greatest fear?
The GIF. Because I can make that a joke. Like,
yeah.
It's like, I'll have a freaking heart attack or something. No.
Okay, and then would you rather be catfished or a victim of identity theft?
Catfish.
Yeah.
Identity theft sucks. A couple weeks ago, I went somewhere and I swiped my card at a parking structure, and when I got home, there was like $400 in weave expenses.
What?
Listen to me. They had weave and spent $200 at Finish Line.
Stop.
Like, stop. Just catfish me.
What if you like fell in love with this person? Don't ask me how that happens, but it happens.
It happens.
It happened. I don't know. I feel like, so when I be watching Catfish, I feel like nobody on Catfish could have been my friend.
Yeah, no way. Like, how don't you know?
Too much, like, we do way too much, like, investigatory work.
Yeah.
Any mutual friends on Facebook, I'm calling all them hoes. Like, it don't matter. You can't date my friend and I don't know some extra info about you. Like, it's not
happening. I always say I'm part of the FBI. I found out everything.
Yes, she does. She truly does. I go to her for everything.
I'm like, oh, girl, here. These are all the facts.
That's how I feel. So I feel like if somebody was able to catfish me, they deserve it. Yeah. Because I do my investigatory work. So if you fooled me, hell, you need to get this.
All right, we're going to start with the episode. Today we're discussing episode 5 titled You'll Find Your Way. In this episode, a day comes to Malachi's rescue after he's robbed at gunpoint, and a day becomes aware of like rumors circulating about him. So let's get into the episode of Giants.
Yes. Pick up where we left off in episode 4. Malachi's getting mugged, so the guy's fed up with Malachi at this point. He's
Him and his friend.
Yeah, they're both upset. So he's like, I bet I'm gonna shoot you. Like, he's like, today's when you die. Like, this is it. So he goes to pull the trigger and no bullet. Yeah. I said, look at God.
I said, you playing?
No,
toy gun.
Oh, my first thing was like, look at God. I was like, that's Jesus covering him, because that was crazy. There was there was no bullet, but he should have been prepared if he's going to be out here in the streets.
I'm like, it's either the gun is jammed, this fool forgot to put bullets in it, or it's just a play gun.
I think he said it in the behind the scenes. That was a true story. That really happened in James, but it was BB gun. It was
the BB gun.
Okay.
Shooting it, and it was going off in his face, and he was saying that all he kept thinking was, I'm dead, but I'm going to keep swinging till I die.
Yeah. Oh, I did see that, yes.
Yeah, and so he... So, like, it wasn't until, like, a day or two later when the scabs were on his face, like, they thought it was from the actual fight itself. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up having to get surgery. So they didn't want to cut his face to get the BBs out because it would scar him. So they went, like, in through his mouth and in through his nose to take the BBs out of his face. Yeah.
Wait, I don't remember. That's crazy.
Comments who were talking about, like, why would he be walking around in that? Yo, James got robbed in, like, one of the busiest areas in Los Angeles where people, and it's like very well to do, very like upper class.
Yeah.
He got robbed.
And
y'all don't live in the city if you don't understand how people get robbed.
But we were saying last week's episode that he should have had the money in his sock or something. Yeah.
Like that's the only thing. Like you can
at least.
Yeah.
So then
they both shocked.
Yeah, they both shocked. So then Malachi takes the opportunity to, like, he punched him in the face. So then they start fighting, but then the second guy takes Malachi by the neck, starts choking him.
He was, like, climbing on his back. He trying to, like, pull him down.
Because Malachi's tall. He had to climb up. So then the gun guy gets up. He starts punching him. Then Malachi hits the floor, and the friend is upset at this point. Like, he starts kicking him in the stomach. Like, who do you think I am? Like, don't touch my best friend like that. Like, he's getting mad. Then the friend takes the money and he's like, I got it. We can go. Let's go. But the friend is still mad, still punching him.
Yeah.
Kicking him. So they leave Malachi on the floor.
Basically for dead.
Yeah, they left him for dead.
They left him.
Poor baby. So then Malachi goes to Ade's house. He's in bad shape, homeboy looking. He looking bad. They got him good. So they trying to get the scoop, like, what happened? He's worried for his friend. Mm-hmm. But Malachi, he's like, I got beat up. I don't want to talk about it.
He said, I got into a fight.
He
got a lot of pride because he lied. You got jumped and you got robbed.
Right, I got into a fight.
There was no fight.
It was more than that. It was much more. So he goes into the bathroom and then he starts thinking about, like, his gig in the first episode. Like, he's telling the painter, like, where he's from and why he moved to L.A. Then he jokes about, like, the wind brought him here. And, like, his mom said, where he goes wherever the wind blows. And he just one day was like, I'm out. Like, he took a leap of faith and just moved to LA. So, because I think we kind of
I asked about that. Like, how did he end up in LA?
Yeah,
last week,
right?
And now we find out.
But there was no real plan, like, because we were trying to figure out, like, okay, why would you quit your job and just start this and you're just doing little gigs.
Like, it's weird.
He really didn't have a plan.
So many people's like thing in LA though. Like
really?
that's such like a Los Angeles thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like because like you can't. Los Angeles is not one of those. First of all, I don't know. Have you guys ever been here?
Yes, I have.
She has.
Okay, so like Los Angeles is not like you can't even try to get an apartment lined up before you come. Like
no,
because apartments go so fast. Like if you're moving on April 1st, if you need to be out of your apartment April 1st, you can't start looking until March like 5th. Because that's when they tell you what available apartments they have and they move so quickly.
Okay.
So it's like you can't even come out to LA unless you're like working like a corporate job. You can't come out to LA with like a full plan. Like you
just spur of the moment.
Like yeah, it's almost impossible unless you're like I said, you have like a corporate job. So a lot of times most of us move out here and the point is to crash with somebody for a couple months until we can sort out what the next thing is.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, like and so for a lot of people, that ends up being having like 3 or 4 roommates because it's so prices are so high, but like the wage is so low. It ends up being if you really want to still be able to audition or take classes or do the stuff that you know, a lot of people come out here for the arts. You need your days open, and there's only so many serving jobs available. So it really is. Everybody's just on Craigslist every morning trying to get odds and ends jobs or getting like extra work and stuff like that.
We was like, what's up? Yeah. We was like, what's up with all these little gigs, Malachi?
Yeah, every day is a different one.
It's very LA. Very, very LA.
Now we know.
Okay, so then he took a shower. He came out in his towel, and he asked Ade for some shorts. And Ade is looking at him like he's in love. He could not keep his eyes off of him.
On Ade's
he's
face.
Like salivating. I need him. I want that.
I need that. I want that. He's stupid.
But then he's like, yeah, check my dresser. And Malachi says, which one? The big one? He says, the bottom drawer. Subliminals.
I did not even peep that like that. I didn't even look that deep into it.
He said, bottom. He's telling you something.
You're so annoying.
Then he also says, you can sleep in my bed tonight if you want. Because I'm going to be up for a minute.
Right.
It's another invitation.
That's an invitation. Oh, my God. You're crazy.
So then Malachi also asks about, like, can he borrow his phone? And Ade says, like, oh, did you change your mind about calling the police? He's like, nah, I just want to call my mom.
But what would he even say to the police, though? Like, oh, I was, selling my body real quick, got the money for that, and then they robbed me. Like...
Seriously, what could he say?
He can't.
So, but then he says, like, I'll get the phone later. But he sees how Ade is looking at him. And he knows, like, what kind of effect he has on Ade. But he just believe in...
He knows.
He believe in the boys and girls days. Like, Ade was stressed. He was just like...
Yeah, he was stressed when he left the room. Like, whoo, what's that feeling? Yeah.
But he's tossing and turning on the couch. Like, he can't sleep.
He's restless.
He got a lot on his mind. He's thinking about somebody.
Yeah.
Something. So he takes his pillow and then he goes to his bed. He's like, this is my bed. I'm going to sleep here.
This is my house, so I'm going to go to my room.
He sleeps next to Mal, but Mal don't even know he's in the bed. Like, But now he's sleeping peacefully because he was tossing and turning before.
Yeah, that's true.
And now time just flew by.
Yeah, he was comfortable. Then also the next morning, Journee wakes up, phone still dry, no good morning text. No good morning text.
She mad.
She mad. Tall Caramel is still missing. I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
She got nothing. It's just dry.
Yeah. Not even an Instagram notification.
You should have known. Like, that was one of the things that I was like, Journee should have knew this. Like, some dude off of Tinder coming in calling you.
She was new to Tinder. That's the thing. She wasn't ready.
So you think she moved too fast too, right? Or
I do. But again, I know people like this that are really straight. So it's just like, it wouldn't be what I would do. But I get it. I get it, Journee. I get it.
So Malachi, he's also wide awake, but he's like still laying in the bed.
He's not wide awake. He was sleeping.
I'm sorry, Ade. He's wide awake, but he's still laying in the bed. And I'm thinking he gonna try to go to the couch so that Malachi doesn't notice him. But I guess he was waiting to see how Malachi would
No,
respond.
he woke up. He was
watching Malachi.
He went to sleep they both were under the cover. Then he woke up and realized Malachi was like, no. Like, he got over the sheets. Like, I'm not.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
He was sleeping over the sheets. Like, he was like, nah, we're not doing that.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's what. So
because he was like smiling.
So Ade had like I felt he had a sense of like disappointment.
Oh, I thought he was smiling.
Mm-mm.
We're both off.
It depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then next you have Journee. She's having breakfast with her sister, and you can see like even though they had that big fight, you know her sister's always gonna be there for her.
Yeah.
Like it don't matter. Like her sister's like you know you can always stay here, right? So she's like I know.
Sister.
Her sister just wants like the best for her.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's real.
Then we had next scene Ade, he's stretching it out with his homegirl. She's telling him about everything going on in her life. Dance life's going good. Love life's going even better.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, what's up with you? Are you dating anyone? What's going on? So Ade's like, nah, But she's trying to figure out why. Like, you're a good guy. You're gorgeous. The hoes should be lining up.
Yeah, you should have different hoes in every different area. Like, what's up?
Exactly. What's going on? So he's like, why can't I just be single? Like, where's the wrong in that? Why can't I just live my life? So she's like, she sits down. She tries to get like Oprah
Very
on.
serious.
She gets Oprah on him. Are you single because you want to be, or are you single because you can't be with who you want to be? He's like, be with who?
Mm-hmm.
What?
He's like, what have you heard? Who you been talking to?
Who you been talking to? So she's like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, girl, cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
So she's obviously trying to tell him something. So Dave's like, Casey, just cut it out. Tell me what's up. So she said, I was wondering, like, do you, like, you know what? Never mind. So she gets annoyed with it. Like, what? I don't want to talk about it no more.
She was scared.
She was scared. But just, you brought it up, so just come out with it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, don't get mad, but
the people been talking.
They've been talking. The streets have been
talking.
I had a conversation with a couple of girls from the dance studio, and they were talking to guys and whatnot. And Melanie
No.
Mel was asked about you. Was running her mouth. And she said you asked her out and took her to a gay party. And Ade is so upset. Like, why was she
mad? He is so mad.
Why would she tell you that? She told you. So he's so upset.
She got a
like,
big mouth.
Right.
Why would she say that?
Yeah, she's like, I know. And he's like, that's not true. I didn't know it was a gay party.
Right.
She's like, I know, that's what I said. She probably didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, she probably was like, girl, that happened? What?
Like, really? I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask him.
Right, exactly. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to see him this weekend. So, she says, it must have been a mix-up, whatever. So, but she doesn't think, Mel doesn't think that you're into girls. But, that doesn't matter. It's her opinion. But if it's true.
He's like, it's not.
You can let me know. He's like, it's not true. I just don't want her spreading lies about me, spreading rumors.
Mm-hmm.
So he was upset. So, and then Casey, she drops a gem on him real quick.
That's what I said. She dropped a gem.
She did.
Ade, look. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. That doesn't make it your truth. As long as you know who you are, that's all that matters.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But then he's still stressed out.
He's so mad.
He's so upset about this whole situation.
He don't like this at all. But he makes it back home, and Malachi is laying on the floor. And I'm like, the fuck? Why are you on the floor like that? And that's one thing my mom always told me. Don't lay on the floor. Like, you're not an animal. Like, we have couches. We have chairs. Don't lay on the floor.
But it's funny because in the behind the scenes, they talked about that. Because Will Catlett directed this episode. Shout out, Will Catlett, what's up?
So annoying.
But they said in the original script he was supposed to be laying on the couch, but Will felt in his heart like, nah, he wouldn't be on the couch. He'd be on the floor. So it was a directorial decision.
Okay. But Ade is like, you want some food, and Malachi, he's kind of like in his own little world, but he's just like, yeah, that's cool. And we get some shots of the apartment, and I see Issa's book. I see that product placement, girl. I'm not even mad about it, but okay. And then Ade says, Journee called looking for you. And Malachi's like, did you tell her what happened? And Ade's like, yeah. He's like, you told her everything? He's like, pretty much. And I'm like, Journee, what kind of friend are you? Like,
what do you mean?
If I told you that, something bad happened to him. Wouldn't you come over?
That's true, too.
What you calling and texting for?
So here's what I can tell you. Journee couldn't come over because Vanessa was pregnant.
Okay. Got you. Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
No, because Vanessa in real life was pregnant.
Because if she rolled up, we'd be like,
wait, what
tall
happened?
caramel knocked her up. No. Like, we would be like, what? Okay, so she had to stay behind the camera.
But then Aday's phone buzzes, and he's like, speak of the devil. Like, you want to talk to her? But Malachi, I guess he's, like, still upset about what happened. Mm-hmm. So he's like, nah, I'll call her back later. So they're eating dinner, and they're eating very close to each other. Like, elbows are touching each other kind of close. Just saying. And then Malachi's like, thanks for letting me crash here last night. And Aday's like, oh, please don't mention it. Malachi's like, I might need to stay for a week. And I'm like, for what? Mm-hmm. Why? Don't you have your own apartment?
Yeah, I was confused.
No, they got evicted.
But I feel like that wasn't said.
Yeah, that wasn't said.
A lot of people felt like that in the comment section.
Yeah.
Because the night before he had just, he was a hoe for the night. And I thought he was going home.
But I guess since he lost the money. But I guess
because Journee was still at her sister's house, it makes sense now. Okay.
I thought, yeah.
But Malachi says maybe a month,
perhaps a year.
And the day is like, oh, okay, no problem. So then after dinner, Malachi is like ordering something online and wants to ship it to his house. I said, how?
With what money?
How does that happen?
Shouldn't you cancel your cards at this point? I was confused. What money?
He different. But then Journee calls Malachi. He sends out a voicemail. So she called Aday. And Aday's just like, just talk to her.
Right.
So Aday goes off and gives him give him a moment, whatever. And I kind of felt like Malachi was avoiding her because he felt like he, let her down or something like that. Because he couldn't support them anymore because, she wasn't working.
Oh, that's true, too. Because I feel like all this whole time, Malachi was, like, the one to go to help them, get them through everything. Yeah. And now he's maybe let her down.
He felt like a disappointment. But he finally...
James and I we do have this relationship. We give each other hell for everything. Mm-hmm. If you do something stupid, you are going to hear every F-bomb on the planet. And you are going to hear the other one just be like, all right, you done?
Yes, because that's exactly what happened. Mama went off.
That is taken straight from me in his relationship. Like, we'll be like, hey, I'm not even going to lie to you. That was the stupidest shit I ever heard. Like, I don't know why you would... Like, so I actually didn't find out about James getting robbed. And he didn't tell me when I was in Florida. He waited till I moved here, and he told me at a sushi restaurant.
Oh, damn.
Hoping that, like, because I was in public, I wouldn't actually don't give a damn about public.
I don't
care. Showing out?
No.
So everything that Journee said, I said to him, but it was like a year later. So that's what made it like even funnier because I was going off on him like it was the same day.
He's like
he was just sitting there like, are you finished or are you done?
Right.
Like,
she's like, what's wrong with you?
Yep. He was really just like, it's whatever.
It's like, okay. So we go back to Journee and Malachi in their bed talking, and she's asked him like, if he could be anything in the world, like what would it be? Like it pays $3 million. Like what would like your dream job be? So Malachi's like, okay, don't laugh, but she don't care. She cracking up.
Yeah.
She already, he even say nothing. She's dying laughing. But then she stops and he's like, if I could be anything, I would be a spoken word artist. So she dies laughing again.
Mm-hmm. Why you laughing? You said you wasn't gonna laugh.
I forgot you used to do that. Oh, I know you.
Mm-hmm.
I knitted you in your mother's womb.
And lay purpose in your being before I breathe
life into you. And you used to do this. I know you. Because you thought you was a jingle.
That was my shit,
It was. You were good, though.
I was.
Yeah, why'd you stop writing?
Just ran out of stuff to say.
I feel like he was uninspired. He became uninspired, just like Journee said she was definitely uninspired. So, but then, so Malachi goes out for a run. And episode ends.
He was exhausted, but he just kept going.
He kept going,
he just kept going.
Yeah, kind of like his dreams. Almost. Bring the dreams back.
So
that was episode 5 of Giants. So now we're going to get into the questions, comments, and concerns.
Okay.
As always, guys, remember you can be a part of the conversation too. So send us your QCCs and we'll read them on the show and give y'all our thoughts. Email us at seriouslypodcast@gmail.com or DM, comment, and tweet us at seriouslypodcast.
So we're going to read some YouTube comments. The first one I have is from Mac Unfolds. He says, I really wish he would have caught a lift with that new money. I mean, it's only... He could have took a cab home. He
was thinking. He was just like...
But he's trying to save all the money.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to just hold on to as much as he can.
One from Queen Lola says, so let me get this straight. Did Malachi just move himself into a day's place for a month without offering to pay rent? Not in my house.
Not in my house.
I'm down to help my people, for about a week. After that, I expect monetary compensation. No joke. Ooh. I'm down. I'm with her.
You with her?
Yes.
LA thing. That's very LA. People will crash with you for a minute and like a minute. And like the idea is like a rising tide lifts all ships. So you might mess around and have the couch that they can sleep on for a month, and they might book the job that you need them to hook you up for a month later. So it's just that's really LA culture. And it's interesting because we're so engulfed in it that we forget that everybody doesn't see it the same way.
Like, what's part of the culture?
That don't play in New York.
No.
The next one is from Miss R.T. Mills. So they is stuck in the friend zone with no emergency exit. Malachi is doing too much. You just can't be in someone's house on the free and not expect tension to build. A week maybe, but a month is asking too much. So...
Yeah, because a day was stressed from seeing him in that towel.
Yeah, so a month of this? A month?
He was so stressed.
You're already stressed in this situation.
Yes, and it's only been a day.
A day. And did he switch places with Journee? Because a day cooking and cleaning.
Oh. He might be a better
And Malachi on the floor just chilling.
He's depressed. He's so depressed.
Jordan Hamilton says, maybe it's just me, but I feel like Journee and Malachi might have feelings for each other deep down. Best friends or not, I can sense it all.
I don't agree.
What
you say?
Now the only
we waiting.
And that when I tell you James, well, him and I both have guy and girl best friends that nothing has ever happened with. But again, we have a lot of we mirrored those relationships off of that. So that's why, like, when she was like, would you be mad? I think it's like episode 2. She's like, would you judge me if I started dating on Tinder? And he was like, I do not care who you date. That's none of my business. Like, we just talk about that, like, even in the show. So I hope that comes across. But if it don't, hell, that might be a season 2 twist.
Exclusives, y'all.
I
don't know. Okay. Edward says, why is it that in the Black community? You said that last week. Why is it that in the Black community people are so opposed to a man being comfortable in his own skin? Because he sat next to his friend, that makes him questionable? They might be hiding in Malachi too, but I need a little more facts than sitting next to his friend and staying at a party. You was calling out to sit next to each other. He talking to you.
Okay.
It's so hard for a Black man to be himself without being questioned.
That's true.
He can't just live his life. It's like, are you gay?
I think that's something that James wants to explore throughout the show is what is what is actually connected to sexuality and what is connected to our ideal of masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they're so intertwined that if a dude's pants are too tight, they're like, oh, he's gay. And he's like, or he really likes tight pants.
Right.
That's something that James really wants to explore more.
Yeah.
Lil Mark 1. Okay, is Malachi about to go on a spiritual journey? I saw the fasting book. I was thinking about the woman at the bus stop telling him how he was a prophet of God and how miraculously that gun didn't go off. Mm-hmm. That's God.
It is.
I've heard too many stories of people putting guns to their own heads and pulling the trigger, only for the gun to get jammed. Despite our struggles and choices we make in life, God is the God of a second and more chances. Mm-hmm. He is the Redeemer. I pray he gets his life together. I pray that was more than a wake-up call. I pray he realizes that his life has purpose and destiny.
Ooh, Mark A1, take us to church. Yes.
Dropping gems.
Yeah, I agree. well, we have one episode left, so I just hope everything comes full circle. And I just want Malachi to win.
I do too, because somebody has said Malachi can't catch a break.
Yes, he can.
I just want him to win.
That's it.
Seriously. Poor Malachi. I just feel bad for him every episode.
And it's like getting worse.
It's getting worse. Now he's like really depressed.
Yeah. Because didn't you, weren't you saying something about depression with Malachi?
Yes. I wanted to know if he's depressed too, because
I think he is. We don't touch on it in the show, but I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It manifests itself a little bit differently.
Yeah. I think so too.
Because the fact that he had said that he ran out of things to say, that means you're not inspired anymore.
Right.
Like,
I definitely agree. Have any more?
And then my last question was, is a day gay? I just want to know. That's it.
Well, we'll find out, I think, in the season finale. But I do have a fun one. What if Giants is a prequel to First?
Oh, because it's spoken word?
Because James Bland's character in First was a spoken word poetry teacher. So, I don't know. Maybe he'd change his name and start a new life.
For the finale, I want to see if Tall Caramel comes back.
Oh, yeah.
So she could just, like, punch him in the face.
Or will she take him back? Will she take him back? She still love him.
She sure do. She fell in love so quick.
Yeah.
So quick.
Yeah, finale. I want to see the Malachi and the day situation resolved.
Yeah.
See what's happening with that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if maybe Journee like sits down and talks to somebody like professionally.
Definitely.
Maybe she needs to.
And bring her sister too, so she can
Yeah.
understand what's going on with her.
Yeah, because her sister. Yeah, I feel like her sister doesn't really understand.
And I feel like her sister would go if she like asked
If she needed her. Yeah, exactly.
She laughing like no.
She's like, no, her sister not coming.
I just know what happened, so I'm like,
Oh yeah, you know.
All right.
True. All right, so that's it for episode 5 of Giants. We wanted to thank you, Vanessa, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. We had so much fun breaking down this episode. So please feel free to share any upcoming projects that you have and where our listeners can find you.
All right. So right now I'm working on a show that is going to, I'm in behind the scenes still in the writer's room, on a show that's going to be debuting on Netflix in some other time. I'm not sure,
Exclusives.
I was about to say what date, but I'm not actually sure. Sometime this year, before 2018, it'll be on Netflix.
Oh.
Ozark, starring Jason Bateman. And
nice.
You can find me on Instagram at v.kelly, VDOT Kelly. Same thing on Twitter, VDOT Kelly. And you can find me on Facebook, but I don't actually run that page, and I don't know who does. So, you know. About being catfish.
Okay.
But they be taking stuff from my Instagram, so it's legit. It's just.
I don't know who runs. That's so funny. Okay, so if you guys are enjoying the show, please rate us on iTunes, follow us on SoundCloud, and hit those like buttons on there too. Also use the hashtag #SeriouslyRecap. Let us know you're listening. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Vanessa, again.
Thank you.
Bye.